What's going on, you guys? It is Derek from mancaveretreat.com. If this is the first time you have stumbled upon my content, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Kind of my story is I took a man cave, or I built my own man cave from scratch, an unfinished room, everything from putting insulation in, drywall in, bringing a guy to wire it, all that good stuff. And it's an awesome space now. But during that time, I asked a lot of questions and there were not many answers. So, kind of my goal for this and for my website, mancaveretreat.com, is to give you better answers than I had. So, this is the second video of a series, a planning series, kind of my whole thing. I enjoy the planning of man caves, the solving the puzzle, figuring out where stuff goes, all that good stuff. So the first video in this series, which I will link up in the cards, was how to create a home theater man cave. Kind of the things you want to do, the things you want to, the do's, what you want to have in there, and the don'ts, the things you want to avoid. So this video is, by the end of this video, you're going to have a good idea of the do's and the don'ts of creating a music lounge man cave. This is one that is not as popular. You won't see it as much, but I think it's just as cool of an idea. I get really excited thinking about these things because music is really important to me. The guitar's over there. So how can we include these things into our space to make it a more authentic thing? So again, by the end of this video, you are going to have a good idea of the things you should be including, the things you want to avoid. Let's jump right into it. What is a music lounge man cave? What do I mean when I say that? Basically, you're going to be building a music lounge man cave if music is important to you and it's a space you want to be able to just kind of relax, hang out, and either listen to music, play music, appreciate music. But you're surrounding yourself with music, your instruments. It's a place you can invite people over, maybe to jam. So maybe you're going to have some stuff to improve the acoustic quality of your room. But really, it's just the center of your room is about music and the people who make it, your favorite bands, things like that. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure you include in your music lounge man cave is it's something that I don't really see very often. It's seating with low profile arms. If you're like me, playing guitar, if you've ever tried to play guitar in like a love seat that just you're surrounded by it, it's almost impossible. It is really frustrating. So you want to get seating, and you want to include seating in there that is easy to play guitar. That could be stools, it could be all kinds of different things. But when you're buying that seating, make sure you have that in the back of your mind. That's what you want. So now that we've kind of considered the seating that we want in our man cave, the other thing is another thing I mentioned, which is kind of the acoustic quality of your room. I'm not saying you need to go and get all kinds of like acoustic foam and put it up on the wall, but that is a good option for you. It's really cheap. But you can there are some simple tricks you can do. It could be space rugs. I'm not saying you need wall-to-wall carpet, but just have a few rugs some places. The couches you get have like a textile quality, so it's kind of soft. That's going to absorb some of the echo going on in your room. Or even just have a throw blanket on your couches. Kind of what's going on with echo is the sound is just bouncing off of all kinds of different places. So the goal is to have things in your room. They're going to absorb some of that echo and stop it from bouncing all over the place. So rugs, textile stuff, that's going to catch it. So this next thing is something that is really important to me. If you're familiar with the content I'm putting out, I'm all about being unapologetically you, showing off the stuff in your man cave that you enjoy, not that things that make you look manly. Whatever music you enjoy, whatever artist you enjoy, I want you to display the artist's stuff on your wall. It could be Taylor Swift, it could be Slayer, it could be Disturbed, it could be 21 Pilots, it could be August Burns Red. It doesn't matter. Whatever music you enjoy, I want you to display it. Because at the end of the day, and if you're watching this video, you know that music is music, and it's the universal language, right? So you can display that in different ways. You could just I'll make a video later that kind of goes into that, but my favorite thing is signed posters, or signed show publicity. Do signed CDs, signed vinyl, signed records, or you just have pictures of stuff. At the end of the day, whatever you choose, if you choose it, it's going to be right for you, and that's all that matters. But if you listen to Taylor Swift, kudos, and you should be displaying that, absolutely. So the next thing is kind of obvious, and I feel bad for saying it, but make sure you get a beefy sound system. It's going to feel real bad, and the people who come over to hang out or jam or whatever, if you go to listen to music and it sounds like you're listening to music through your phone, big no-no, don't do it. Your sound system is going to be a big chunk of your budget, and that's just the way it's going to be for this type of man cave. Bose has some awesome options, some awesome wireless options can go with Alexa, so they're kind of smart capability, and they can be like $400 to $500. I'll kind of link my suggestions for those, but you can't go wrong with them. Just don't try to save money on sound systems in a music lounge man cave. That's probably one of the worst things you can try to save money on. The final suggestion I have for you when building a music lounge man cave is, if you play an instrument, display it. I don't care how you display it. It could be hung on a wall. It could be propped up. Also, it doesn't matter what the instrument is. For me, it's guitar, so a lot of the suggestions I'm going to be giving are for guitars. But it's an awesome thing when you can just hang a guitar and use it as a decoration, because a few things happen. The first thing that happens is it's going to look cool, and you're going to be proud of it because it is something, it's your instrument. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into learning that, and you have a lot of time that you've devoted using that instrument. So the sense of pride is going to happen when you display it. The other thing that's going to happen, which I think is really cool, is when you display it on the wall, you're going to want to pick it up and play it. So weirdly enough, by displaying your guitar on the wall, or your instrument on the wall, you're probably going to play it more, and you're probably going to keep improving, and it's probably going to improve your musical talent. So just for that reason, I think it's worth considering. So now for some of the things to avoid when building a music lounge man cave. These kind of bleed into some of the other things, but I thought it was worth just really hammering home because I don't want you to make these mistakes. The first thing I want you to avoid is buying a dinky sound system. In case you haven't gotten it yet, music, sound, all that stuff is really important in a music lounge man cave. You wouldn't be trying to save money on a TV if you're trying to make a home theater man cave. So don't try to save money on a sound system when you're working on a music lounge man cave. Probably the worst thing you can do. The other thing you want to avoid is solid wooden furniture or chairs, or overly soft chairs. It's really hard to play an instrument in a solid wood chair, especially if it has armrest. You're going to be worried about damaging or dinging your instrument. That's not a fun experience. But in the same way, if the chair or the couch is overly soft, or you sink into it, it's gonna be just as hard to play your instrument. I tried to play guitar on a beanbag for a while. It doesn't work very well. I don't suggest it. Your back hurts. So really try to. I'm not saying you can have these things in your man cave, but put them in. Have other options in there. If people want to play instruments, so they can do so comfortably. The other thing I want to mention is avoid spacing your man cave out too much. A lot of times playing an instrument or listening to music is kind of a solitary thing. We do it by ourselves. But the idea of building a man cave, right, at least for me, is the idea that people are going to be coming to visit, you're going to be entertaining people, people could be coming over to jam. So make sure there's a section in your man cave, in your Music Lounge man cave, that people can gather around. Maybe it's a table with some chairs around it. Heck, it could even be like a corner of your man cave that you have an amp set up, and acoustic foam, things like that. That's set up to jam with somebody else or some other people. But plan on having other people over. Don't just leave it at it being a solitary thing, listening to music by yourself, playing instrument by yourself. Figure out ways to incorporate having other people over into your Music Lounge man cave. That'll just make it more enjoyable. So that is all I have. Those are the suggestions I have. There's going to be another installment of this planning series. What do you think? Is this type of stuff helpful? Should I move on to other stuff? Let me know in the comments. I really care about it. My goal is to help you all and give you the information I couldn't find on the internet when I was looking. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, I have been Derek from mancaveretreat.com. If you're interested in the original article, that will be in the description as well. Until next time.